Welcome back. Time now to take a trawl through the comment sections of all the news websites to see what ordinary idiots like you and all your friends are saying about the week's big stories.
Shut up. Britain is speaking.
Right, first story, comic relief funny woman Emma Freud went on a podcast this week and told a quite near-the-knuckle joke about how much she loves her children, saying, "Oh, I love them so much, I'd French kiss my 20-year-old son if it wasn't so illegal." Everyone laughed. It was hilarious. Isn't that right? Wessex31 commenting on the Mail Online.
Very wrong indeed, even as a joke.
Well, maybe it left a bad taste in your mouth, Wessex31, but I bet fellow commenter TVL178 Mike saw the funny side.
If a man said the same thing about his daughter, he would be arrested immediately.
Well, I don't know about getting arrested, TVL178 Mike, but it would certainly get some tongues wagging. Let's leave the final thought to Peter Rabid, commenting on the Sun website.
I'd pay to see that. Just saying.
Well, maybe it's an idea for the next comic relief. If we raise enough money, anything's possible, I suppose. Meanwhile, on TV, a bunch of male celebrities stripped naked to raise awareness about men's health and their availability for further TV work. But putting celebrity buttocks on TV didn't put a smile on everyone's face. Commenting on the Daily Mail, EU cannot be serious, complained,
"This used to be a respectable country."
It did, EU cannot be serious, but then, you know, Brexit. Meanwhile, fellow Mail commenter Gino Clock asked,
Is it too late to give communism a try?
"Now then, Gino Clock, the last thing we want is Corbyn getting his wang out and wiping it on the Iron Curtain." However, Graham McFarnaby was furious with Metro's coverage of the saucy event.
Oh, Metro, you blurred it. I wanted to see him get his lad out.
Absolutely with you all the way, Graham. I've always said there's not nearly enough cock in the Metro these days. Now, what do you want to be when you grow up? What's that? A rag and bone man? Of course you do. Being a rag and bone man has long been the #1 choice dream job for British kids, followed by butcher, astronaut, and the bloke who's in charge of the big bonfire that the coppers chuck all the skunk onto.
Down south, he's known as a totter. But whether he tats or whether he tots, he's certainly very useful when it comes to getting rid of things. Come to think of it, Britain would soon start looking very untidy if the scrap men ever went out of business. Not that they will. Scrap's too important.
Look at that. Back then, recycling was so much easier. Instead of having to rinse out all your yoghurt pots, you just waited in your front garden until a silent, frightening man with a head injury arrived and angrily took it away to God knows where. Yeah, modern recycling is boring by comparison, which is why not nearly enough of us can be bothered doing it. But this week, relentless busybody Michael Gove came up with a big idea to get us to up our recycling game and stop lobbing bottles in the canal or on top of bus shelters. He wants to incentivise us by reintroducing the good old bottle deposit system. You know, the old days where scruffy-headed young whippersnappers were able to drain a bottle of pop, then take it back to Mr Watkins' corner shop and exchange the empty for a tuppenny bit, which he'd spend on a copy of the Dandy, 10 Woodbine and another bottle of pop. Money worked differently under the old imperial system. According to recent figures, 84% of household recycling in England ends up being rejected because of contamination, which means all your carefully washed out jam jars are being tipped in the ocean anyway, because your neighbour put a whole chicken and a Peak Practice DVD box set in the same fucking bin. Though to be fair, I don't know which bin you're supposed to recycle Peak Practice in. The pamphlet I got from the council just wasn't clear. Gove's plan is to introduce a reverse vending machine on every street in England. You put your empty bottle in and it dishes out a voucher which you can exchange for cash. On the continent, they've already got these and they've been working a treat. I mean, if you want people to help save the planet, you've got to do things like that. You've got to make it sexy. Like in Germany, every household has its own recycling machine issued to them by the state called Helmut, das Mechanical Auto Robot. We've actually had one shipped in here from Deutschland to show you how it works. Let me demonstrate. It's dead simple and really good fun. Here's my plastic bottle, right? So you finished your plastic bottle and you simply go up to this. Most Germans keep it in the kitchen, you know. And you shove your empty bottle up its, you know, its rear end, like so.
Dankeschön.
Yeah. And then it processes it, right? Processes it and recycles it and all the rest of it. And then it basically generates a meaty treat As you said, look at that, a lovely bratwurst. My favourite. So that's how they do it in Germany, and it's high time we did something similar here. Panel, are you as excited about all this free bratwurst as I am? Karen?
I am. I quite like the idea. I don't think... Because when I was younger... that's what you did. You went to the shop or you had to create some things, and I don't think it's a bad thing. You can't look at it negatively. I mean, I don't like the idea of having this machine of whatever it will look like on the bottom of a street. I think that's a bit.
You don't like that?
No, not really. I don't.
So you'd want something more like helmet?
Exactly. This would look beautiful on my street.
Because recycling this country as it is, as important as it is, Jake. Let's be honest, it's a right load of old shit, isn't it? It's so boring. And they seem to have more fun with it in other countries.
Yeah, it's certainly Helmet is a jazzy new take on it compared to what I do. I have, I shouldn't really blow this, but I've chartered a trawler.
Oh.
And I'm going to sail out into the Pacific.
Right.
And because there's an area of plastic 3 times the size of France.
Right.
I'm having that. Then I'm going to go down to the corner shop.
Yeah.
Cash it in. Billionaire.
Why didn't any of us think of this first? It's free money and it's out there and it's billions, and Attenborough told us all about it.
Right? Yeah. It's all there.
Maddie, you got any fresh ideas for how to make recycling more sexy?
No, but I think we're missing the trend of what's happened here, right? So we had Corbyn at Glastonbury. We've got now Gove being all like, oh yeah, let's recycle. Yeah. I think what they've done. I think what they've done, he's like me, yeah. Is they've gone to like Hackney or Dulwich or Brixton or something, and they've rounded up some hipsters and gone, here's tuppence, give us your ideas.
Hipsters do use old imperial currency. It's kind of quirky. Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what they come out with next. To be honest, Glastonbury was a big one.
Yeah.
I think state-sponsored turmeric lattes is probably the next.
Yeah, they're going to hipsterify the whole. Do you think they could even hipsterify the north, where you're from, Karen?
How dare you? No, we've still got that cart coming up our street collecting.
You do, don't you?
Yeah. Really? Well, they drive a truck now.
He's the mayor. Yeah.
He's the mayor,
I used to love going recycling. I remember, I was just thinking that my mum used to take us when I was young. I used to love going recycling.
My kids love it at Christmas when we get a load of old tyres and set fire to them. Because they love watching the fumes. Because they make shapes and we play a game where we make stories. What can you see? That's
You're the way forward.
I am a great dad. Thank you, panel.
I mean, I know he got knighted, but it's not the first time I've seen Nick Clegg on his knees, if you know what I mean. Oh, get you creeping up on me unexpected. Don't apologise, I liked it. Well, it's Easter this week, and look who's hopping over the horizon with their lallies flopping hither and thither. No, not Ken Clark, you are cruel. It's the Easter Bunny. Oh, I tell you, no eggs are safe when he's around. Bit like Jeremy Corbyn if the eggs are in the wombs of women from South America. Oh! Naughty Jacob, I shouldn't. No, the Easter Bunny only appears once a year in the House of Commons. I say it's a bit like the voting record of Mari Black, isn't it? Apparently, Scottish Mari is a self-confessed friend of McDorothy. Never mind the Easter Bunny, I hear she's practically the Easter Rabbit. Image search it, Grandad, you'll thank me. And you'll also thank me when I tell you Leviticus 20:13 states that if a man has sexual relations with a man as one does a woman, both of them have done what is detestable. They are put to death. Remember that when you're splitting someone's chocolate egg in two. Is that what they call it nowadays? Whoop!
Fascinating stuff. Time now for my special guest, a man with a special insight into both comedy and anti-Semitism, and all without ever making a dog do anything racist. It's Jewish comedian Joe Ball. Hello, Joe.
Hello. How's it going,
Welcome to News Thing.
Jewish Comedian of the Year.
I know. Well, we said that earlier on, and that's really one in the eye for anyone who hates Jews or comedians.
My mum was judging.
Oh, well,
then again, she always does.
Yeah. What do you make of this Jeremy Corbyn scandal, Joe?
I like Jeremy. I'm also a Jew, so sort of it's a tough.
And a member of the Labour Party?
I'm a member of the Labour Party.
Okay.
Yeah. I get those emails from Jeremy. I get excited, and I think it's from him.
Yeah. Are they ever quite abusive and racist? Dear Jew. They're nothing like that.
They're not.
Right?
They're
No.
not. They're very nice.
Okay.
They're very nice.
So, no, is it confusing, though, if you're a fan of Jeremy's and you're a Labour Party member, and irrespective of what you think about, you know, him and this mural and the comment he made many years ago, clearly it reopens a debate about elements of the Labour Party having, you know, quite offensive attitudes towards Jewish people, and him, some people say, not doing enough to condemn them.
Yeah, I think he's come out enough and said, you know, I'm anti-discrimination. Does he have to go through all the religions and say I'm anti this, I'm anti that?
Well, because there's quite specific allegations about anti-Semitism, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I think generally there seems to be a problem with anti-Semitism, not just in the party. I think generally, and I think the issue is Israel. I think his attitudes towards Israel. He obviously doesn't like what's going on in Israel, and I think the public, aren't educated enough about what Judaism is.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see a lot of Jews on TV, not enough Jews on TV. Get more Jews on TV.
Yeah, I've said that for a long time.
But I think that the public need to be educated. They need to be able to differentiate between what is Israel and what is Judaism. And I think generally people don't understand what it's like to be Jewish. I've done shows where on stage I've said I'm Jewish, and I know audiences have looked confused and been like, you know, where's his hat? You know, where's his sideburns? So I think people don't understand about what it is to be Jewish. You know.
Let's talk about freedom of speech, which obviously as a comedian is very something that's very relevant to you, and you'll know that this YouTuber, Count Dankula, has been convicted of inciting racial hatred for getting his pet pug to respond to a racist comment aimed at Jews. What did you make of all this?
Oh, I'm doing all the light comedy subjects.
You are, yeah. Make some fun out of the Nazi dog. Go.
I think he's an idiot. He's clearly an idiot, and it's not that funny. I could have helped him on structuring his material a bit better. I'm not going to have a go at a Scottish bloke. He's a scary Scottish bloke. I've done gigs in Scotland, and I did a show once where I said any foreigners in, and this guy went, "Yeah, you." So I know how tough and how rough some of them can be. But yeah, he's just an idiot, and I think it depends where the comedy is coming from and what the target is.
When someone makes a gag, do you need to be aware of like their background or their opinions in order to sort of decide whether or not it's acceptable?
I think a Jew can make fun of Jews.
Yeah.
But when it's coming from a Nazi,
it's hard to write off as bants.
It's bants, yeah, exactly.
Well, Joe, thank you ever so much for joining us. Fascinating talking to you. Thanks also to my panel tonight, Karen Danchuk, Jake Yap and Maddie Anholt. And a special thank you to my new friend, Helmut. Oh, look at that. There's Helmut giving you a wave. Helmut and I are actually going off on an Easter mini break together to a spa in the Black Forest, and it's going to be great fun, I'm sure. In the meantime, we'll be bunging out a clip show next week, and in 2 weeks, this show will be hosted by London Hughes. So if you want to see how it's done properly, make sure you tune in then. Auf Wiedersehen!